people, you know what time it is. Boku no Hero Academia, chapter 92. Now this chapter, it ceases to amaze me how chapter by chapter it increases in quality. Chapter by chapter, storytelling increases by quality. Now with this chapter, my emotions right now, they're all over the place. Like, I'm hyped, of course, because this was an amazing chapter. But Horikoshi really did. He really played on the heartfeels in this chapter. I can't lie to you guys. I have to tell the truth because, like, I'm not ready for this. Okay. Boku no Hero Academia chapter 92 was awesome. It was hype. We're getting more on All for One. We're getting more on All Might. But, like, this is what has been building up for ages. This is the build-up. Two things. Now, one is the fact of society seeing, like, the symbol of peace crumble. And two, it's seeing All Might in his normal form. Now, when they saw him in his normal form, that broke my heart. Because, okay. I'm gonna try and compose myself during this review because this chapter was beautiful. Horikoshi is the real MVP. The man is awesome. Like, you can tell he loves this so much. It strikes me, it surprises me how we're only in 92 chapters. Just let that sink in for a second. We're only in 92 chapters and such greatness occurs. Just imagine similar impactful moments happening in like 100 chapters time. Imagine how more like impactful that would be. We're only 92 chapters in, so we haven't obviously been with we've been with these characters for what? 2.5 years? It came out, yeah, around 2-3 years, around 2ish years, or depending on, breaks and all that kind of stuff. It came out July 2014, and like, it's madness to see how awesome it is right now. Let's just talk about the greatness that is this chapter. Now I want to talk about, what I want to talk about, like, society, man. What I love about society in Boku no Hero is, first of all, the realism, how amazing Horikoshi has been able to portray society with superhero quirks, and how it's so relatable to our society today. Now, everyone knew this was going to happen. Everyone knew that they were going to see society was going to witness this battle. Now, we did have predictions on how society would witness this. We had predictions that, society, they'll be scared. And this is pretty much the villain's aim. This is pretty much all, the aims finally coming into fruition. So you could say that, let's say, for example, just hypothetically, that All Might does not die. Let's just say All Might does not die in this chapter. Not this chapter, sorry. Let's say All Might does not die from this fight, and All for One. All Might may have won the battle, but they have not won the war. You need to understand the shackles that they placed on society. This is what I loved about Boku no Hero. Ever since Stain, there's been subconscious questions like lingering in society's minds. People have been thinking, hang on, maybe the heroes haven't always been saving us. Look at all these things which is happening. Students have been kidnapped. Heroes have been disabled, like by Stain, the attack on Hosu City. We're really seeing society being the idea of heroism and safety has been decoupled. And that is what is really important from this chapter. That is unbelievably important. Heroism and safety have been decoupled. Now understand that, guys, because if you think about it, all these heroes, they're saving society with a smile. How many occasions has it been where the heroes haven't been able to save them? Like, one, the USA, the Space Jam arc. Like, every single time, the heroes they've obviously managed to come and save, but it's not good enough with obviously villains causing such wreckage. And that's what we see in this chapter. Like, I just need to bring up that page, man. That was just beautiful. I'm sorry my thoughts are all over the place because this chapter really wrecked me. This chapter actually screwed me over, man. Like, this is such an amazing chapter. We're seeing, like, Uraraka, Tokiyami. We're seeing these guys' reactions as well, and it's just like the thing is, All Might. You just gotta imagine, All Might is like, he's not like he's just everyone. He's Superman. Just picture that. Everyone looks up to All Might. Society, kids, parents, daughters, husbands, everyone, and they're seeing All Might in such a crippled state. That literally like shakes their thermostat right now. Like, it puts them into another kind of what's the word? It just puts them, I can't even talk right now. Like, this is what All for One says. Let's expose that miserable form of yours to the world, my dear symbol of peace. And it's being recorded. People may, I think some people have predicted this as well, you know, like, society's gonna see this happen and everything. We need to understand this. Like, All Might in his weak form, no might in this form, he's being watched by society. And let's just look at society's reactions. Some people say, huh? What? Who is that? He's like a skeleton. And Deku's reaction, Deku and Bakugo's reaction, that was beautiful. That, I wouldn't say that's the best part of the chapter. That really did pull on the heartstrings in that chapter. But the best part of the chapter, there's two good parts of the chapter. Now, it's one when All Might, he's just like in disarray when he's picturing back to Shimura Nana. I need to get to that in a moment. But it's when it's the civilian. The civilian just pulls me, man, because let's get what she says. So she's crying. She's just like, don't lose, All Might. Please don't lose. Help. And this is the thing. Now, this is why it's so beautiful. One thing, because we're seeing All Might in a state of utter despair, state of utter weakness and futility. Like, he's so fragile right now, emotionally and physically, that he literally cannot do anything. Now, civilians coming out to him, and this is beautiful. This is right, this is the epitome of the strength of society. This is the epitome of the myopa. The myopic nature that is the villainy. Now, myopic, that means like blind sight or like ignorance, you could say. So the villains believe that society, they held All Might to such a high status. That is true. But now listen, the villains believe that if All Might crumbles, society crumbles. Now that is true to an extent. The villains think, and I think of this actually, I thought of this true, before this chapter got dropped. If All Might falls, society crumbles. And that is true. Society's views on heroes crumble, because they'll be like, if All Might can't save us, who else can? And all that kind of stuff. But, I think we're kind of having we've got a lack of faith for society. Because, even though society is seeing All Might in such a state, they still believe that he can do it. They still believe in the symbol of peace, and that's what really touched out to me. Because throughout this whole series, Shigaraki, Stain, they've all been saying about, oh, I'm gonna destroy society's fragile hope in All Might, or fragile hope in the symbol of peace, and how truly fragile it really is. But the fact is, it's not that fragile actually. They've got faith, they've got strength, and they've got trust and perseverance in All Might, that All Might can save them. And that's what really stood out to me in this chapter. That's what was really beautiful. Like, All Might was if it weren't for this civilian, All Might would have died in this chapter, in my opinion. All Might would have kicked the bucket. It would have been an elf. All Might would have died. Like, you need to understand that. If it weren't for that civilian, in my opinion, All Might would have literally gone. He would have been destroyed by All For One. So that was really impactful. That really did touch me in this chapter. And it is really amazing just how beautiful Boku no Hero is. Honestly, the storytelling is amazing. And what I want to talk about the storytelling as well is All For One's character. Now, it hasn't just been me, obviously people all over the place, all over the fan base of Boku no Hero. They've been saying how much they admire All For One. Now, I wouldn't really say admiration. I'd say it more like acknowledgement, but I don't know how I would describe the liking of All For One's character, because you wouldn't say that you love All For One, because All For One has done bad things, but you wouldn't discount the fact that he's an awesome character, and he's an extremely complex character. In last chapter, we were seeing him present himself as a self-sacrifice, for obviously letting the villains run away. Now, things like this, or the way he's been such a mentor and teacher to Shigaraki, Horikoshi was doing this, and Horikoshi is an utter genius how he's been doing this. The way he was writing All For One in those chapters, we were having the admiration that we have to All Might. It was transferring onto All For One. Now, I'm saying transferring very loosely, because when I say that we had admiration for All For One, it doesn't mean that we still didn't have admiration for All Might. We had admiration for both characters, but on different parallels, in like different perspectives. That was beautiful. I really liked how Horikoshi done that, because in these past couple of chapters, I've been loving All For One, even though I've acknowledged the evil stuff that he's done, especially to All Might, who we all love. And that's the thing. If you think about the Boku no Hero fanbase, I'd say I'd say that maybe 100%. I know it's hard to say 100% on anything, but I'd say like at least 95%. Everyone loves All Might, and that is the truth. Everyone loves All Might. So the fact that we're liking All For One to such a degree, that is just beautiful storytelling. That is just Horikoshi crafted the storytelling so intelligently and so beautifully that we can like both characters from different characters from different polar opposite roles, and that's really awesome. But in this chapter is the total opposite. I really hate All For One in this chapter. Now that kind of sounds a little bit juvenile of me. That kind of sounds a little bit fickle-minded, but it's not fickle-minded. It's just like that's just the complexity of All For One. I wouldn't go to a degree of saying All For One's got like a duplicitous nature, like he's got two-faced. I wouldn't say that. I'd say that his character is just complex, that we can't truly understand the depths of it because we don't really know that much of him. Because in the previous chapter, he was acting like a true I was gonna say true hero. I was just like, no, Sam, take it easy, take it easy. No, in the previous chapter, we're seeing All For One act as, you know, like a true mentor to Shigaraki. The way Shigaraki was talking to him, Shigaraki looked up to All For One. Now, in this chapter, All For One's not. This ain't teasing. This is not even kicking a man when he's down. This is just evil. Like. This is what made me hate him, because we see in this chapter, like, the fact that what was beautiful about this chapter is we see such a strong bond. At first I thought, if you look at Deku and All Might's strong bond, it's just like Deku sees All Might as an idol, but you see with All Might and Shimura Nana as well, so it makes you think that, hang on, these bonds between the like master and student of One For All, between the generations, it's extremely strong. Like, it's not just admiration, it's kind of love, it's like care, like the way All Might looks up to Shimura Nana that we realized in this chapter. Like, All Might looked up to Shimura Nana like a mother figure. This is what I'm getting from this chapter. And he was just broken in this chapter when basically All For One was just destroying Shimura's personality, whole character. And that was what was truly like, that pulled on the heartstrings, man, because this whole phase when Shimura Nana's just like that, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, that is beautiful. Like, the feels on Boku the Hero are top notch, man. Like, could you imagine this anime, when this gets animated, and whenever, how many seasons, obviously not in season 1 or season 2, but when this gets animated, ladies and gentlemen, this is gonna be awesome. So, I just really wanted to point out, actually, just the relationship between Shimura Nana and All For One. I didn't state in my previous review of, you know, the predictions of Shimura Nana being a female. I really like that. Now, last chapter, people were thinking, hang on, how can Shimura Nana be a female if, you know, Shigaraki's been saying father all this time? We didn't really think that Shimura Nana would be the grandmother. Now, this leads up to a lot of openings and plot developments, a lot of that. First of all, who's Shigaraki's father and mother, who's his parents, and what happened to his parents that, you know, he hates All Might so much. Now, I'm going to just theorize that whilst All Might and Shimura were fighting or something like that, maybe All For One managed to get a Nomu, or All For One managed to get one of his henchlings to kill Shigaraki's parents, so then Shigaraki will believe that, oh, my parents were killed by villains, yeah, or my parents were killed by something, yeah, All Might weren't able to save me. Maybe that's why Shigaraki hates All Might. And if you think about that, that's really twisted of All For One, because the way All For One was talking about Shigaraki in this chapter, even though it was very short and very briefly, it was in a different tone. And I caught that straight away. It was in a different tone. The previous chapters, the way that All For One's been speaking towards Shigaraki has been caring, and been loving and like a mentor like. In this chapter, even though I think it was only on one panel, it was like, from that one panel, the tone that I got from that panel, and that is just props to Horikoshi. The tone that I got was that All For One is just using Shigaraki. All For One is using Shigaraki to defeat All Might. That's what I got from that chapter, this chapter, because in the previous chapter, I've been thinking, it's just been stuck in my mind. I've just been thinking, hang on, All Might can't put everything for Shigaraki's sake, because All For One can't put everything for Shigaraki's sake, because All For One must have like an ultimate plan for himself. He can't just stake everything on, you know, like Shigaraki. It just didn't seem right with him. It didn't stick with me. So I do feel like he's kind of, you know, just manipulating Shigaraki and using him so he can take down All Might. And the thing is with All Might now, it makes us think, All Might knew about Shimura Nana having obviously a family. So this, I thought it was going to be this chapter that we were going to get, you know, like a chapter length flashback of Shimura Nana, the past, the fight all that time ago, and you know, just Shigaraki's bloodline and all that kind of stuff. But now seeing in this chapter, I really want a flashback. I know Horikoshi likes to employ the one-panel flashbacks within chapters, and I think that is very impactful. That is very impactful for just like emphasizing emotion and strength. But I'd like to get a full-length chapter flashback just for, you know, just for plot. That, I think that would be amazing, and I think that would be a great time right now. When I mean right now, I don't mean like next chapter, because I feel like it will break apart, you know, the pacing of the tension of what's happening right now, especially what happens at the last part of this chapter. Maybe in a couple of chapters, but either way, I do feel like we should get a full-length chapter flashback in this arc. And what was I saying? Yeah, with Shigaraki with the grandmother. It's literally my thoughts are all over the place right now. So I'm sorry if I seem a little bit, you know, like if my thoughts seem misconstrued or all that kind of stuff. But either way, I'm just showing out my love for this chapter. So Shimura Nana being Shigaraki's grandmother, that is awesome. I want to find out more about that. I'm just extremely interested in Shimura Nana's character, especially the fact how what I'm getting from Shimura's character was that she was someone that cared for people, and her views of a hero was someone of saving their lives but also saving their heart. The way how All For One described it, saying, let me just get that up in a second. I'm just quoting this. She was only an effort about her ideals. It was as if that woman had no power at all. As the person who fathered one for all, her hopelessness was embarrassing. She died in an especially shameful manner. How do I ever begin to tell you? Even begin to tell you. Now, the way that All For One's kind of saying, how do I even begin to tell you? It kind of implies that All Might wasn't there. Or maybe he's just using it as a ploy to, you know, like, further, like, put salt in All Might's wounds kind of thing. I'm not sure. Either way, we do need revelation. We do need knowledge on this flashback. And I feel like now is the perfect time. Horikoshi has heightened the tension and the suspense for us wanting to know what happened in that fight 6 years ago. Now, there is plenty of other things I could be talking about this chapter, and I'm not stopping the review right now, but I'm just telling you guys, let me know your thoughts and comments below. I'm starting new things. I like to go in depth with my reviews and just, you know, talk about what I loved and what I didn't like, and just, you know, diving in deep into this chapter review. I also put notes in the description, so always check out the description for the things that I have. Maybe the things that are summarized in the review, or things that I didn't say. Most times they're things, you know, like upon further reading the chapter again, I just realized something which is really awesome to point out. So always check the description for some of my thoughts or extra thoughts that I might have with this chapter. Now, what I'm getting from Shimura Nana is that she's a strong character, but she seemed like she sacrificed herself for All Might, and that's why I think All For One says powerless, calling Shimura powerless, because I'm getting the feel that Shimura had the opportunity to defeat All For One, yet she didn't, so she could save, you know, civilians. And maybe that's why All For One's calling her powerless, because he's thinking like, you had the opportunity to kill me, yet you were weak, and you decided to save a measleless, insignificant civilian's life, or something like that. Maybe it seems like that, because I doubt Shimura was just weak for not, you know, wanting to fight All For One. So we'll obviously have to find our next couple of chapters. But now with Society, I've spoken a bit about Society. I've spoken about the reactions. I'm just thinking, hopefully I've covered everything. Now with Bakugo and Bakugo and Deku, that was beautiful. Like, that was just like, they're screaming out for their idols. And you need to understand that throughout the series, we've gotten a lot of, you know, characterization on many characters. We've seen Deku's, of course we've seen Deku's. We've seen Bakugo's as well, and other characters, and we've realized that their ideal, their idol that they've had has always been in common, and that's All Might. So us seeing Bakugo and Deku up front, like screaming for All Might, saying you must do it, you must save him, all that kind of stuff. It's beautiful. Like, it really is. I can't really say anything more than that. I honestly can't. And damn, 90 minutes, that's long. Sorry guys. But like the fact that Bakugo, like, they're screaming out there, it's just like, I really do love Bakugo as a character. It shows how Bakugo is definitely going to be one of the major characters. Well, Bakugo is a major character, but it shows you how important he's going to be in future roles, in the future arcs, all that kind of stuff. How Horikoshi has been employing him, especially in this arc. Now, what All Might does at the end is just badass. He pushes past his limits, and he's just like, let me get that. By the way, Wolf 1, like, his whole face is just gone. Now, I don't know what you guys, I don't know what to think of that. Like, what injury must have caused that with his whole features, like, being scarred over? You can't see anything of that. But, like, either way, you know, the villain designs, like, they're so badass. Like, the character designs are awesome, especially the villains. Now this last, you know, Horikoshi knows how to do his cliffhangers, I'll tell you that, because this the last part of the chapter with, you know, the thing, it looks like All Might, he's obviously pushing past his limits. Like, you need to understand, he's weak right now, he's in a weakened state, he's injured. Now, he's activating One for All again, but it seems like not on his whole body, it just seems like on his arm and his shoulder like that. So, we do know that maybe this last attack, this may be his final attack. Now, I don't think that All Might is unbelievably disadvantaged right now. I think Wolf 1 is still unbelievably disadvantaged, because remember what Shigaraki said last chapter, like, with that body you can't. So we need to understand the fact that they're both equally injured, they're both equally disadvantaged, so either one of them can win in this fight, especially right now at the end of this chapter. All Might's morals are back up, he's putting a smile on his face. That's what a true hero is, and that was beautiful about that chapter. Now, I can't even tell you how much I love this chapter. This chapter was beautiful. You could tell, 21 minutes talking about this greatness of the chapter, man. Like, I may have missed some stuff out. So do tell me your thoughts in the comments below, what you thought of this chapter. All I can say is that the chapter's improved by the week. I've been saying this since chapter 8. Because that was the first review I think I'd done of Boku no Hero. I had thought that it was going to get better and better, and now, like, just look at this, it's just awesome. It really is. Now, it was great to see, 2 more things. I'll be really brief on it. It was great to see, you know, like, a reaction of society, that's what I really loved. And I'm really loving Gran Torino's role. I really do enjoy Gran Torino. I think he's just an awesome character. And I really loved how he's playing a role in helping All Might. Now, I don't know if another hero will come to the scene. Due to society watching this, like, on the screens of the cities and all that kind of stuff, maybe Endeavor may come. Maybe, I don't know, number 3. Who the heck is number 3? Who is number 3? This has been bugging me since all these rankings and all this kind of stuff. I've been wondering, who's number 3? We've seen Best Genius, we've seen Edgeshot, who's number 5. Who is number 3? Like, I really want that to be stated. Like, let me know. But yeah, tell me what's going on below. I'll see you next week for that greatness that is Boku no Hero chapter 93. If you like anything I had to say in this video, please let me know. Drop a like. And tell me your thoughts in the comments below. Let's continue on discussion down there. Now, this is Shimura Nana. I'll see you next week for that greatness. Subscribe for weekly reviews of Boku no Hero, and I'll see you next week for the anime and the manga. Peace, guys, and keep it easy. Shimura Nana. Bye.